This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 821 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by StatelineTack.com. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's show will be a quiet hack down memory lane for some, and a merry gallop to new frontiers for others, as I sit down with Sissy Meehan from State Line Tack for a little chat about tack shopping, then and now. And I would like to say greetings to Sissy Meehan from State Line Tack. And we would like to welcome State Line Tack on board here at the Horse Radio Network. They're going to be helping out and sponsoring podcasts on the Horse Tip Daily Show. Welcome to the show, Sissy.
I'm glad to be here.
We'd like to spend just a couple of minutes today and talk a little bit about State Line Tack, because I've got a sneaking suspicion we have a lot of listeners out there who are familiar with the State Line Tack name because it's been around a good long time, but maybe not with StatelineTack.com in the 21st century. So why don't you tell us a little bit about State Line Tack and where it came from?
Okay. I had the pleasure to work for State Line Tack back in the early 90s. And at that point, that's where I learned the history. And State Line Tack was actually started by Dave Post. And he was out of Plastown, New Hampshire. And he was he did shooting on horseback.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
And that's how it got going, because he needed supplies for his horses that he had, and he couldn't find them anywhere. So being the type of, person he was, very, very innovative, he had a barn, and so he then kept opening stalls in his barn to start displaying merchandise, and it started out as a very local little tack shop. And that went on for probably, I'm going to say, it kept growing, and it kept growing from one stall to another stall, and then he would take down stall walls, and then he moved the horses out, and the whole barn itself became a tack shop in about a 10-year time frame.
Huh.
And around, he specialized primarily in English, but he did do some Western, because actually he rode both, and his kids were also riders as well as his wife, and it was very much a family-owned business. And then there was a group of investors that came into the company in the early 90s, and they took, working with Dave Post, because Dave Post worked with all of us back then, and he did a phenomenal job of helping to introduce us to the vendors, his assortment mix, his pricing philosophy. So we were able to, as a team, take a company that already had a great, reputation. It was starting to get some national recognition, but with the advent of catalog growth and able to, utilize a lot of different mailing options, we expanded the catalog, and we were probably mailing in the early 1990s, I'm going to say probably like 6 to 7 million catalogs a year.
Oh, my gosh, that's a lot of paper.
That was.
Wow.
Yep, and we used to do the coupon flyers back then, and they were a supplement to the catalog, because the catalog was mailed once a year back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would do special sale editions, and we working with Dave, and he was a critical part of helping us grow. But we just kept growing and adding new manufacturers, and we started adding some retail stores. But we were, we took what he did and just made it so much bigger. And the reception that we got from people in, riders, myself as well, I mean, they were excited about it. It was like, oh, more to buy from State Line. This is so hard to get,
Right.
So we were the leader, we were, back then in the early 90s, there wasn't too many catalogs out there doing what we were doing.
Well, and I just remember when that came in the mail, don't plan on seeing any horse person's nose for about a month after it would come in, because it was the first time that horse folk who did not have a tack shop down the street, there's a lot of us that live in areas of the country that the nearest tack shop is a 4-hour drive, had access to a variety of quality products. Was the really State Line Tack brought that to the American public.
Wow, that's great to hear, and that was, the goal back then. And, it went through a lot of changes, and, there was a period of time, I want to say back in 1999 going into 2000 that PetSmart wanted to enter the equine field, so they bought the retail stores and took over the catalog, and they had it for a period of, I want to say, probably about 6 years, and the company that owns it now is Tapcom, and they bought it back in 2006, early 2007, and that's where we are today.
And you guys have really, at least from my point of view, you're really going back to your roots. You're getting back to being, yes, you're an online tack shop, but you really have the local tack store kind of a feel like. I feel like I could talk to the little chat folks or the little customer service gals, and they're going to ask me my name and find out what color my horse is and find out what I really need at my local level versus the big box transformation that was attempted, and it just doesn't work in the tack business. And you guys are really embracing the State Line Tack roots nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's great for myself to be back here and to literally, I kind of look at myself too as saying I grew up with the brand as a rider and then had the privilege to work for it back years ago, and now, as a rider again, it's great. It's so personal to us riders. We talk about our horses, it's all about, what are you doing and how's the training going, and you just don't know when you're going to need something.
Right.
Sometimes you'd say, oh, that would be nice to have, and other times like, oh my God, my vet just left, I need that now.
You need it right now. And it's really kind of fun because you can surf around the statelinetack.com site, which, kudos to statelinetack.com and your IT people, is so easy to navigate. Thank you very much. And you guys keep it simple and straightforward. I can find a product. I can find the information I need effectively. I can find the help button. And you guys have great descriptions of your products, too. I noticed you can click on something, and I can actually learn about the product.
Oh, that is so great to hear, because we really feel that when you're buying a product, you need to know that you can't touch it and feel it. It's like a catalog. Catalogs, they're great, but you don't smell the leather. You don't see the stitching.
Ooh, we could get smell-o-vision for your website, Sissy.
Oh, that would be great. There's nothing better than smelling good leather. There is nothing better. But, no, you're absolutely right. We look either to write our own copy and expand our own copy, because when you're buying something, you need to know all about it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You want to know the information. And I can go to a set of reins on your website. I find out what brand they are, and you guys have national brands on your website. It's not just stuff nobody's ever heard of. It's national brands that you can count on. If you buy a pair of Steuben reins, you can count on every pair of Steuben reins being the same. It's not going to be one of those guesswork things. It tells me the length. It tells me the width. It tells me what exact materials they're made of. And it tells me what kind of metal is used on the buckles. And those things are important when you're shopping online if you've not purchased that brand before. So it's great because I don't have any mysteries here. I know what I'm getting.
And that's what you want to take them. You want to make it, like you said, it's all about ease of shopping and being able to find what you want, understanding that it is what you want, and then getting back to what's important and making the purchase and getting out to ride.
It's a fun site to surf around. It's informative. If you have not stopped by State Line Tack recently, you should. StatelineTack.com. And they also have a fantastic Facebook page I just hit the like button on. Well, thank you so much for spending a little time with me today, Sissy, from StatelineTack.com. And we'll be hearing from you again in the future, I'm sure, on Horse Tip Daily. And you have a great day.
You too. Nice talking to you, Jennifer.
And that's a wrap. You can also find lots more tips about topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. Stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like us to cover. You can even listen to the show right there on the Facebook page. You can subscribe to all of the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also stop by horseradionetwork.com and learn about our brand spanking new app for iPhone and Droid. You can have Horse Radio Network podcasts wherever you go.